Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, and I'm joined by country music royalty, the one and only Martina McBride. We're talking about her new album, Reckless. It's her 13th album. Congratulations to this lady. Go check it out. Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade. I've got country music royalty joining me in the house today, Martina McBride. So excited to have you. You and I were just talking. 13 albums.
Yeah.
I don't even have enough talent to put one song. I couldn't even put a hymn together or something. How the heck do you do 13 albums?
You know, it's taken a while. I've been doing this a long time, and just, you know, I love making records. It's so creative. You kind of get to start with a blank canvas and create whatever soundscape that you want, put whatever songs on there you want, and it's fun.
Reckless. This is a very personal album for you. Talk to me about the album. What can people expect making this music?
Yeah, the album Reckless is my first country record in 5 years. So we had a lot of time to really wait for the right songs to come in and be very patient. And we ended up with just a collection of songs that I think is really, really good and so relatable to so many people. You know, they're just kind of songs about real life and songs about hope and songs about self-worth and songs about leaving and songs about coming home and, you know, just songs about unconditional love like Reckless.
I feel like that's what all country music is about, right? Like, it's like no one tells stories about love, forgiveness, more than country music. Why is country music at the forefront as a genre and being able to tell stories like that?
I don't know. I just think it's part of the history of the genre. You know, it's just always been, you know, music for the common man, as Merle Haggard, I think, said. It's just, it's just about real life, and there's a way country music has of tapping into a situation, and the narrative is very simple but very heartfelt, and so it's just always been that way.
How have you changed both personally and as a songwriter from album 1 to now Reckless?
I think, you know, as you get more experience in life, not only your career but in life, you know, you get a little bit more relaxed, you get a little bit more not quite as intense, you know, as when you're first starting out. But I don't know how it's really changed. In some ways, it hasn't changed at all. I just still love what I do, and I'm so blessed and lucky that I get to do it.
Country music has changed. I remember 10, 15 years ago, it was almost like this niche arena, and now it is enormous. It has broken the mainstream. When you see, from when you started to now, the explosion of country music, what are your thoughts on what's going on right now?
Well, I think it's great that there are so many people discovering country music. You know, I think that it is the kind of thing that if you give it a chance and you listen to it, you know, that you will find songs that you can relate to, songs that have someone singing about a situation that you might be going through, or and it's sung by relatable people. So I'm not surprised that people are discovering country music more and more and more, but I love it.
You're working with this Sarah Cannon and in the fight with cancer. I think it's so inspirational. Talk to me about this album and how it pertains to that.
Well, this album isn't particularly for Sarah Cannon, we're doing a tour, a 5-show tour called Band Against Cancer, and we are, I have a song on my record called Just Around the Corner that they've kind of adopted as their theme song for this campaign. And we're, you know, raising a certain amount of money from every ticket goes to blood cancer research. So it's just a way to, you know, to come together and have a great night of music and you know, help a great cause as well.
How did you get involved?
They just asked me.
With all the incredible success you've had, you've probably had so many incredible moments. You've been nominated for so many Grammys. What have been some of the really memorable moments throughout your career?
Most of the memorable moments have come from collaborations. You know, I got to sing with Pat Benatar on stage, and Jimmy Buffett. I got to do a duet and a video with him. Got to sing on stage with George Strait. Kid Rock, Steven Tyler. So
that's a pretty cool mishmash of people.
It really is. It's like, that's really so much fun when you get to, you know, people that you've sort of looked up to your whole life, and all of a sudden you're standing right next to them. Like with Pat Benatar especially, I, you know, was such a huge fan growing up.
I saw you just did this Grammy Legends salute, you and Chris Christopherson, and That's got to be so cool. Is there one person that you haven't worked with that you would just die to work with at this point?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I think it would be awesome to work with Aretha, you know, or Bruno Mars would be fun. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. How about the Grammy Legend Salute? That must have been just a trip.
It was awesome. You know, Linda Ronstadt was my idol growing up. She was literally, I listened to her records every single day, and I would sing along with her records. I grew up on a farm in a really small rural community that we didn't have anything like voice lessons or things like that. So she was really my teacher. I would just put on those records and just sing with them over and over and over and over again, trying to hit the notes and get all the nuances and the tone and everything. And so I got to get to sing for her for the Grammy Salute was amazing.
What was her reaction?
She said, "You did a good job."
You're like, give me more than that. When did you realize that this was your career? This was the path you were going to take when you could legitimately be a professional singer?
I just I've always wanted to do this from the time I was, 4 or 5 years old. So I don't know that there was ever one crystal moment of realization. It's just something that I've always wanted to do. And then I do remember in probably 1989 or 90, clearly making the decision to move to Nashville and follow this as a career for real. Because I was just singing in clubs and bands around Kansas, where I'm from, and then just deciding I'm going to move to Nashville and try to make it.
Are there moments, you've had all this success, but are there moments where you start thinking, I'm not going to make it, or I have had success, but this isn't permanent?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not permanent.
You're like, you've got to keep churning albums out.
It's not permanent, and it's just, there were in my career, a lot of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, kind of with country radio and just all kinds of things. So we really built this career the old-fashioned way, 1 step at a time. It took a long time, and I wouldn't have it any other way because I feel like we had a really strong foundation.
Why did it take 5 years to make an album?
I made an album. I made an album in between called Everlasting, which was an album of some of my favorite soul and R&B covers.
Okay. So
we covered people like Otis Redding, Aretha Franklin, Van Morrison, The Supremes. So that was a really fun record. It just wasn't a country record, So it was out of my normal thing that I do.
And where did the title of the album, Reckless, actually come from?
It comes from the song, Reckless. There's a song, Reckless, on the record, and I love that song. And, being reckless can mean so many different things to so many people. And there's positive reckless and negative reckless, it's just, but really the song's about unconditional love.
I'm always fascinated with songwriting. It is such a mysterious art to me. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about your songwriting process. Is it something where, hey, you experience something, you're like, oh, let me think of a hymn or a chorus or something that I can put a song together here? How does it all come about for you?
It comes about in different ways. Sometimes, I do a lot of co-writing, so sometimes sometimes nothing happens. You sit in a room for 3 or 4 hours and you just don't have a song, no good ideas, or it just doesn't come together. And then sometimes you write a song in 20 minutes. Like we wrote Teenage Daughters very quickly, and it was based on, obviously, my real life experience with my daughters. And so yeah, it depends. I mean, songwriting for me, the discipline to really sit down and take the time to write a song is really hard, so I don't do a lot of it. I've written some for some albums, but for this new record, I just relied on all these amazing songwriters that we have in Nashville, kind of like I used to do before I started songwriting. And so there's all kinds of ways to go about it.
Do you know right away when you get these songs delivered to you? Do you know right away, this is a Martina McBride song, this is one that's going to fit my style? Like, how do you know when that song is right for you?
Yeah, it's just instinct, really. And I do know immediately, usually. Sometimes I'll live with the song a little bit, but those usually don't end up getting cut. It's kind of the ones that you gravitate toward immediately and think, I love that song. I cannot wait to sing that song or make a record out of it. Those are the ones that make the cut.
Do you look back over your albums and do they signify periods of your life, moments of your life?
Yeah, they do. I mean, of course, the first album is about, just getting started. I think my sort of breakthrough album was Evolution.
Right.
And that was really, my producer said I should name that record Evolution because it was kind of an evolving sound, and I felt like my sound and everything was kind of evolving at that time. Emotion, I had just come off doing some dates on Lilith Fair, so I was really, at that point in my career, kind of influenced by alternative music and that the whole vibe of that tour, which was just really cool. And so we used loops, and we did certain production things that are different. And yeah, so I mean, every record kind of has its own space in your life, for sure.
I love listening to how much of a fan you are of other music. How, like, are you constantly listening to other music and other artists? How, I mean, is this like a big part of your life?
I need to listen to more music. I've got a problem, because I have a hard time listening. I listen critically, you know what I mean? So I'm listening for, if I listen to a song, I'm listening to the lyric, I'm listening to the drum sound, I'm listening to the guitar riff. I'm kind of like dissect it as like a producer.
I do the same thing as an interviewer. I totally get it.
So it's hard for me to listen to music and do other things. So like if I'm trying to concentrate, if I'm writing, or I'm like writing an email or cooking or whatever, if I have to concentrate, I have a hard time having music on in the background, because I'm not a background listener. But yeah, but we, around our house we do have music playing a lot, and we've started getting back into vinyl, which is a lot of fun. So we have our vinyl record player set up, and we take time to go in there and listen, and yeah, so I love music.
There's so many great young country stars on the rise right now. What advice would you give to them as they begin to navigate their career and their success?
I think you have to be true to yourself. I think you have to listen to your instincts. Hopefully you have good instincts. Because, in the career, especially in the beginning, there are a lot of people that try to pull you in a lot of different ways. And, if you want to stand out as an artist and sort of stand the test of time, you really have to have your own identity, So doing what everybody else does, it doesn't always work. So I think and it's hard in the beginning to be strong and to say, I don't want to do that. That doesn't feel right for me.
Who were the artists you looked up to growing up? Who were your idols?
Well, Linda Ronstadt, Pat Benatar, really strong women, Bonnie Raitt, Aretha, Ricky Lee Jones. I kind of gravitated toward really strong women and strong voices.
Congratulations. Really
Thank
great
you.
stuff with your new album. 13 albums later, Martina McBride is still killing it. Make sure to check out her new album, Reckless. Awesome stuff, Martina. Congrats.
Thank you.